Talk down to me now, but respect when I'm winning. I get to the money, I flip it, then kick it. Shout out to my brother, my niggas, we winning, yeah. Back on my bully, I'm all on my bullshit. Call up city, the bosses, I know shit. Skipping class for regret, but still do it. Like you telling them when you be fooling.
Okay, welcome back to another video. So today I'm doing another album review. I've already done King Von, Welcome to O-Block, and today I'm doing POLO G, the GOAT. Now I've got so many comments to react to this from when I reacted to him on the first American Drill series, and then when I reacted to 21. And yeah, if anyone's new to the channel and they don't know kind of the videos I've been making in the last few weeks, I'm very new to the whole of American Drill thing. I found POLO G through that, and I'm very new to POLO G. I've only been listening to him for a week or so, but he's slowly becoming one of my favourite artists. This album really blew me away. It was incredible. There's so much meaning and personal stuff that he's put on the tracks. He's been very introspective, talking about his life, his childhood, PTSD, and his friends as well. There's some really good contrasts on there. There's some really positive, upbeat songs, and then there's some really like deep, meaningful, sort of slow, sad songs. And yeah, I think the whole album is just incredible. It's an amazing piece of work, and I'm very glad that I have found POLO G through this channel. But the way it's going to work is I'm going to go through each song and just give it like a rating out of 10, talk a little bit about it, and then at the end I will say my favourite song and my least favourite song, and then give the whole album a ranking out of 10. So let's start with the first song, Don't Believe the Hype. And if I keep looking down at my phone, that's just because I have my notes for the songs on there. So yeah, Don't Believe the Hype is going to get an 8 out of 10, first of all. It was a great opener, just kind of set the tone for the whole album. Kind of set the theme as well, talking about like his friends that have died, passed away, his struggles growing up, kind of set the tone and the kind of topic that runs throughout the album. And I really liked the electric guitar beat. I thought that was really interesting. That was something I didn't expect, but it sounded really, really good with him. Now the next one is Heartless, and it's going to get a 9 out of 10. And the hook on this is so fire, so fire. And then I really liked the flow. He'd like da 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 da. He'd like raise his voice at the end of the flow, and that sounded so sick. And it was kind of consistently throughout the whole track as well. He used that same kind of model where he just raised his voice at the end. It sounded really, really good. And if I'm not wrong, I haven't put it in my notes, but I'm pretty sure this was also on an electric guitar beat, and it sounded really, really good. I think it was interesting to hear that like 2 beats with an electric guitar, and yeah, they worked really well with his voice and his kind of style. Now the third track is Martin and Gina. This is going to get an 8 out of 10. Then this one's a bit of a switch up in topic. He's talking about his girl, his relationship, how much he loves her, and then the hook is amazing on this as well. And then moving on to the next one, the Juice WRLD feature, Flex with Juice WRLD, is going to get an 8 out of 10. Again, it's kind of the same as the first 3 songs, very kind of laid back, chill, melodic vibe, and the Juice WRLD feature is amazing. I think it's like they work so well together as 2 artists like on the same track, and it's sad we're not going to see that as much in the future. Maybe they've got a couple songs like in the bank already, but yeah, but they work so well together, their styles just fit perfectly together. And then after 4 kind of chill back melodic tracks, they switch it up and they go with Go Stupid. Again, it's kind of just switched the whole energy of the album. It was really perfect timing as well. You'd have 4 songs that were all quite similar sonically, and then bang, you switch up with a proper like hip hop rap track. And a Keef beat, it's always going to be amazing, Keef on the beat, and yeah, again, it just brought the kind of switch up the album we needed at that point. POLO G's verse on this, the way he rides the Keef beat perfectly, and yeah, his flow is amazing, his whole verse is amazing. And 2 features, Stunner 4 and NLA Chopper, they were solid. I don't think they were as good as POLO G, and that's kind of why I want another POLO G verse on there. I think it would have been good, open it with POLO G, have the 2 features, and then have another POLO G verse. I felt like I wanted more of him on the track. The 2 features were solid, but yeah, POLO G bodied them on that track. And the next track is 21. I have already done a reaction to this, so I'll put that in one of the corners. I never know which corner it is, but I'll put that in the corner so you can go check that out. I'm not going to talk much about this, but yeah, that gets a 9 out of 10, amazing track. And now track 7 is 33. This gets an 8 out of 10. Again, it's kind of talking about his come up, how his life's changed, which is another common theme throughout the album. And again, it's just kind of the perfect style that works with POLO G, just kind of like a chilled, laid back beat, just riding the flow, nice melodic tones. And then this next track, I think you don't have to wait to find my favourite song of the album. This is it. This got a 10 out of 10, and this is I Know. This is a powerful song. Oh yeah, he's talking about some heavy shit in this, talking about pain, and yeah, it got you like properly listening, you know, and you just kind of, you're listening to the album, you're kind of just chilling back, you're thinking about other stuff, and then like that song just made you focus, and like all my attention was on that, and this was a powerful track. Okay, he's talking about Juice WRLD in the hook, about losing him, and you could tell that was so like heartfelt, really, really coming from the heart. It's such a personal track, obviously. And then the second verse talking about abuse and trauma that he suffered in childhood. It was one of those songs that just like, you just kind of sit in silence and listen to it, and it's like, it really grips you. And yeah, I wasn't expecting something that powerful from POLO G. From what I'd listened to him before, I was expecting kind of the same melodic stuff that's just like a nice vibe, and then that track just like, bang, it just got me hooked, and that hit hard. So yeah, that got a 10 out of 10. That was, yeah, a track that can really like pull your heartstrings and get your emotions going. It's like, that's when it's like an amazing track. Moving on to the next track, Beautiful Pain. This is going to get an 8 out of 10. It's a breakup song talking about regrets in his relationship, trying to win the girl back, and I don't know if this is the same girl that was mentioned in Martin and Gina. If it is, that's an interesting structure, having it like you've got the good bits of the relationship first, and then a bit later on in the album you've got the breakup, how it's gone bad, and his regrets that he's made and the mistakes he's made. Again, the hook on this is fire, as pretty much all the songs are. That he's just like, every track has an amazing hook on this album. It's yeah, like pretty much all of these tracks could have been singles. I think that's what's amazing about this album. I don't like, there's maybe a couple tracks that I didn't like, but apart from that, every track could have been the single that like got a music video and was like the main track of the album. It could have been, he could have just picked out anyone and it could have been the single. And the next track is No Matter What. This is going to get an 8 out of 10. I thought this was a really interesting one because he was talking about like dark shit and like growing up in the hood, all of that stuff, but it had like quite a positive, like upbeat, not upbeat, but like a positive, like almost inspiring beat, like the kind of music you'd hear behind loads like motivational videos on YouTube, and I thought that gave it a really interesting kind of feel. It almost felt like it was an inspiring song. Even though he was talking about dark shit, it felt like it was kind of inspiring, and talking about how he got out of it. It felt like almost like a motivational song. And yeah, I thought that was a really, really nice, interesting touch to make it less of a sad, like dark song, more into a motivational, inspiring one. And the next one is Be Something, Lil Baby's feature on this. This got an 8 out of 10. Again, it's just a slow vibe, kind of talking about shit like PTSD, trauma, shit that's messed him up in the past, and Lil Baby's feature on this is incredible. And the next track is Relentless. This was kind of the same vibe as the album, very similar style to what he's done like previously in the album, but it was a bit more fast paced, and yeah, the hook and the verses were great as always, so that's going to get 8 out of 10. The next one was DND. It's only going to get a 7 out of 10. I liked it, but I felt like at this point I kind of wanted a bit of a switch up. I felt like the same style was getting a bit repetitive. He was talking about the same kind of topics, and as good as the style is, and I don't really care, like as I said, I listened to it 4 or 5 times through and didn't get bored. It was still amazing, but I felt like I wanted a track in there that kind of just switched it up, and then you go back to the main style. But again, this was still great. 7 out of 10. It was kind of, again, talking about problems in the hood and in his childhood, and it kind of like had like an antisocial, like almost like isolated feel to it. And the next track is Chinatown. This only got a 6 out of 10. I didn't like this track. The beat was not for me. I don't think the flow was great either. I don't think POLO G performed very well on it. It seemed just like a kind of album filler, like he needed an extra track to put in there. Yeah, this one wasn't for me. 6 out of 10. Now the next one, the 15th track, Trials and Tribulations. It's going to get a 7 out of 10. Again, it was kind of the same style as all the other ones. Like I said, I was getting a little bit bored of it. I guess Chinatown was kind of meant to be the switch up. It was a bit of a different style to the rest of the album, but because I didn't like it, it didn't feel like a switch up. I wanted something I liked to obviously switch it up. Yeah, I think if that had been a better track, it would have worked better, and it would have worked well in the whole, like, the structure of the album if Chinatown had been a better track. But yeah, Trials and Tribulations, 7 out of 10. It's just the kind of like a solid album song. It wasn't incredible. The beat was really good, but it wasn't anything special. And then the last track to end it all off, Wishing for a Hero. This also gets a 10 out of 10. This is with BJ the Chicago Kid. This was such a sick track. It was a perfect way to end the album as well. It was a bit of a switch up from the style as well. It almost had like an old school vibe as well, that it kind of came in and it reminded me of like 2090s hip hop, and I really liked that. It was a big switch up. POLO G's flow on this is incredible, and he's talking about oppression in the strugglers community, racism in general, just like working class struggles, poverty struggles, racism. It was talking about some really deep shit. I really liked the choir kind of gospel elements in the beat. That made it sound so sick. I think that might have been what gave it the old school vibe. I think it was the beat that gave it that kind of older feel to it, and it sounded really great. And then BJ the Chicago Kid on the chorus wasn't, I don't know if you call it a chorus, it was just like POLO G had a verse and then BJ the Chicago Kid had like a singing bit to end it out. But I guess you call that the chorus. That was so sick. That was like a perfect way to end the album. It was almost like inspiring, even though it was kind of saying like things don't change. It felt very inspiring, and it was a great way to end the album. And then the last line on the album was his little sister telling POLO G that he's the GOAT, which was a perfect way to the end of the album. So as I said, that gets a 10 out of 10. And that means that I have two 10 out of 10s that I have to pick one to be my favourite track on the album. I think my favourite track on the album has to be I Know. I think that one, the way it made me feel, I was like so hooked on that track that like really like drew me in to the screen. I was listening to it on my computer, kind of just chilling in my room, and then I started listening to the track, kind of like leant forward, and you were like really paying attention to the lyrics. Yeah, that was a powerful track, so I think that's going to be my favourite track on the album. My least favourite track, you can probably guess, it's Chinatown. That was the lowest ranked track on the album. Again, didn't like the beat or the flow, was not for me at all. Now talking about the album as a whole, I don't know when this came out, but I wish I'd heard this earlier. This is probably one of my favourite albums, and I only listened to it today, but I can probably say that's up there with some of my favourite albums. I can't believe I've only found POLO G in the last like 2 weeks. He's such a sick artist. I wish I'd heard him earlier. Like, this whole album was just such a great body of artwork. It's like talking, the topics he was covering as well is kind of like death, trauma, PTSD. He was opening up about some dark shit that happened in his childhood. Like, I think it was on I Know, he was talking about how his auntie used to molest him. It's like, he's bearing it all on the track. He's putting a lot of personal stuff on the music, and I think you've got to respect an artist for that, and that's what makes you connect with an artist. And I get now why POLO G has such a hardcore fan base, because when you're talking about like deep personal shit like that, you're gonna get people that just like, especially if you imagine if you've gone through that experience, you're hearing someone talking about the same thing you've done, you're gonna connect with them. It made me connect with him. I've never had anything like that, but hearing someone be so open and personal on a track, you're automatically gonna gravitate towards them. And the whole album, it was amazing. Like, Chinatown was the only song I didn't like on there, and there's usually, I listen to an album and I'll like maybe 60-70% of the songs. I liked, what is that, like 95% of the tracks almost. Yeah, it's amazing how many songs there were on there. And like I said, I think all of them could have been singles released by themselves as a main track on the album. Pretty much all of them could have been. And to have consistency throughout your album like that is amazing. Usually there's going to be stuff that people don't like, but I only disliked one song. And I remember I said in the King Von Welcome to O Block track that to get a 9 out of 10, that album needed a 10 out of 10 track, and this had 2 of them. So that is going to get a 9 out of 10 as a whole album score out of 10 from me. The thing is, I was debating to give this a 10 out of 10, and I think if all the songs had been amazing, it would have been a 10 out of 10. There were a few that I didn't like Chinatown. D&D was still good, but wasn't amazing, and I think the thing that could have made it a 10 out of 10 is having a bit more variety. I felt like towards the end of the album, the same style, the kind of melodic rap style, was getting a bit repetitive, and the topics he was talking about, as powerful as they were and as amazing and great they were also getting a bit repetitive. I felt like he was saying very similar stuff in all the tracks, and I think if he switched out maybe DNT and Relentless at the end of the album for, I don't know, like a track like, what was the one with NA Chopper and Stunner 4, I've forgotten what the name of it is, but a track like that, if he put that, or he had a bit of a style switch up, you know, something a bit different, and that was also a good track, I think that could have helped it as well. You just have a bit of a variety of styles. I think that would have helped it go up to that top 10 out of 10 for me. But nevertheless, I think, yeah, if anything, it would be a 9.5. It was very, very close to being a 10, and having 2 10 out of 10 tracks on an album is a big thing for me. I don't usually give music a 10 out of 10. Music is very rarely a 10 out of 10 for me. There's usually something I don't like about a track, but like I said, the Wishing for a Hero and the I Know two tracks on there, they were both incredible. Anyway, let me know what you thought of the album in the comments. Maybe give your rating for all the individual songs if you want to spend that long on it, or just give your rating for the whole album. Let me know if you disagree with me or you agree with me on any things. Let me know what your favourite and least favourite tracks are. See if we agree on that one. And yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, like it. If you do want to see more reactions to POLO G, then like the video and comment to let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next one.